Thank you for joining. Welcome to class tonight on this very hot, I don't know about the UK, but we already agreed that in Germany and the Netherlands, it's warm. Thanks for joining on this hot night anyways. Gonna do a nice and soft in class. To take that sunny energy a little bit within us. And we're going to start straight away in a child's pose, a wide-legged child's pose. So grab a cushion or a block if you have one close. And start to settle in. So you may want to elevate your hips with that cushion. So your knees come out as wide as your mat, your big toes touch. Then you sink the hips down. Notice how that feels. And feel free to take more cushions if you want to elevate the hips a little bit, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Just take a moment here to just sway your hips a bit from side to side to really find that space in there. And I'll walk the hands even further forwards if you can, dropping the forehead down. Allowing your shoulders to relax and rest. Your fingertips connected with your mat. But the rest of your hands are soft, just lightly touching the floor. And while you're there, take a deep belly breath all the way from the bottom. And with an exhale, open your mouth, let it out with a sigh. 2 more, deep breath in. Exhale. 1 more. Let it go. Every exhale, allowing yourself to sink deeper down into your hips. Relaxing your upper body. And if it's hard to do that, use more cushions to support you. Let your belly expand. And watch your breath. Slowing it down. And making it softer. Noticing how your body ebbs and flows underneath your breath. And giving yourself time here to arrive on your mat. And giving yourself a moment to land. Observing how your body feels. All the signs of the day. Let them soften. Let your body relax. Ground. And just being present with the sensations that start to arise in your hip space, your groin, your inner thighs. Knowing that we hold so much tension in our hips. Stress, worries, anxiety, it's all there. It's a place where we store emotions, especially unprocessed emotions. So tightness in your hips is often not a physical sign, but something in the mind or even the heart. And for the same reason, hip openness can be confronting, uncomfortable, and frustrating. And staying connected with the softness of your breath, letting go of your shoulders, your neck, your whole upper body just melting down towards your mat. And wherever you can, you're not holding yourself up. You're allowing your body to sink, to open, give it space. And give yourself space to be. Space to be you. Space to be alive. And space to take your place. And that's our practice for today. Just knowing that you are needed, that you're here for a purpose. That it's okay to take your place. You don't have to stand on the sideline. You're allowed to be here. Three more deep breaths. Even slower. And now slowly lift your forehead off the mat. Keep your eyes soft and start to walk your hands towards your body. Taking cushions out of the way if you had one. And gently bringing the knees back together into the center. And just allowing your hips to sway a few times from side to side. Or feel free to take any other movement that your body's craving right now. Whatever feels good. Noticing the sensations in your legs and your hips. And then coming back to the center. Sitting down onto your heels. Swinging the arms up, inhale. And with your exhale, just bringing the right hand down towards the mat, finding a simple side stretch. Leaning in. Deep breath in. And come back to center, exhale. Inhale, other arm up. Find the other side. Open the heart. Stretch it out. breathing space in between the ribs. And come back to center. From here, walking the hands back in front of you and coming to lay down onto your belly. Now we're going to go for half a frog pose. So to begin, you're going to take both your hands on top of one another and you're going to place your forehead down on them. I'm going to slide, and I'll show it with my left leg, but you're going to slide your right leg until your knee is into a 90-degree angle. So that knee is aligned with the hip and your right ankle is aligned with the right knee. Your toes turn out to the side. And I'm resting the forehead down, allowing your whole body to rest here. And this is one of those poses. It's a warm-up for our next pose, which is going to be full frog. We're going to take the sides one by one first. And you may not feel that much here, but the effect is exactly the same. It's a very soft hip opener, allowing the groin to settle back in its original place. So try to relax. Try to be soft. Shoulders relaxed. Deep belly breath. Allowing your belly to expand against the mat with your inhales. Using that breath to connect with the earth. Knowing, feeling that it's okay to take up your place on this earth. We're all here with a different purpose, for a different reason. So no one is in each other's way. As long as we connect with that real purpose, you can be there. But it's hard sometimes to find that purpose, to connect with it. And yin helps us with that. It allows us to align our bodies and mind, to take away blockages, and to let energy flow freely. And with that, giving that true purpose space to come out, to be seen and known. When you're ready, you can slowly start to slide your right leg down and take it over to the other side. So you're going to slide your left knee up until it's in line, 90 degrees with the hip, and turning the left toes out to your left. Ankle aligned with the knee. Again, don't expect any heavy or deep sensations here. This one's really about the little things. Just breathe into it. Let your body go. And just notice here where you may still be holding tension into the hips. You're still trying to keep yourself up in your lower back, maybe in your pelvic floor. Let it go. And then you slowly slide the left leg down. Just taking a few breaths here in the center. Maybe picking up on a few of those tiny little sensations in the legs or the hips. And then you bring your hands underneath your shoulders. And with soft eyes, soft gaze, you're going to press yourself back up onto your knees. And I think we've done this before, but we're going to come off our mats here. You're going to flop your mat triple over in the length. So you have a good cushion. Now you're going to, from the side, bring the knees onto your mats in that way. So same thing, this is going to be our full frogs, turning the toes out to the sides. Ankles are stacked behind the knees and just slide those knees out as far as possible. Keep a cushion close here underneath the belly if you think you're going to need a little while. Just stay here on the hands for a moment and just start to rock back and forwards a few times. And you want to make sure you have that sweet spot. So if nothing's happening here, if this comes too easy, then you need to slide your knees out just a little further. And when you found that sweet spot where you feel you going deep into your groin, into the hips, you want to stay there and maybe coming onto your forearms. And maybe, if you want, sliding those cushions underneath there. Making yourself comfortable. Your legs are soft, toes are soft. Just allow that pelvic floor to open. No need to squeeze your glutes here. And uncomfortable as this may feel, it's one of these magic poses. Trying to keep the hips in the same line as your knees, so not too far forwards or backwards, just somewhere in the middle there. Keep your breath down in the belly. Keep following your ebb and flow. And with every inhale, you just breathe in a little bit of courage. Courage to take up your place in the world. To live your purpose. And to do what you have to do. And keep letting go into your legs. It's the deepest hip opener, I think, that we've got. It goes really deep into the groin. But see where you can give yourself that softness. Be present in your body. Let go deeper wherever you can. And try not to push away the sensations or feelings that come up here. Just let them. Welcome them. And that's how it works with energy blockages. All those unprocessed emotions get stuck somewhere. But whenever an emotion arises, instead of pushing it away or pushing it down, suppressing it, what we usually do, let it actually move through you. Feel it. It's okay to feel pain or discomfort sometimes. Just breathe it in and out. Don't let it get stuck. You're just blocking your own greatness if you do. Letting go a tiny little bit more for 5 more breaths. And then very gently lift your head off. Come back up onto your hands. If you had any cushions, take them out of the way from underneath the belly. And then first, bring your feet back in as if we're going to go back into that wide-legged child's pose. Sit yourself back a slightly bit more. And then just bit by bit, bring the knees back in towards one another. And I know you feel like an old woman right now. I do too. Don't worry. Just sit down onto your heels, hands onto your thighs. Close your eyes for a moment. Observe the sensations into that hip space, your legs. And then slowly come off your mat so you can roll it back out the normal way. Soft movements. And sitting down onto your hips, extending your legs forwards, leaning back and just giving your legs a bit of a shake. Bringing the toes and the feet from side to side. Doing whatever feels good to let that energy flow again. And then cross your legs. Hands come in front of you. You're going to roll over your knees, coming into a tabletop. And if you want, fingers spread wide, hands grounded deeply. Just a basic cat and cow flow here. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Making your own movement here. Following your own breath. Take up your space. Fill it up with you. Tucking your toes under. Taking one more breath, inhale. And with an exhale, shoot the hips up high, downward facing dog. Bending the feet out. Moving the hips a bit from side to side. It should feel really, really good right now after that frog pose. And then bring the heels as close towards the mat as possible. Don't worry if they don't touch. If they don't, just bend your knees a bit and shoot the hips up higher. Ears have space next towards the shoulders. Press the belly towards your thighs. Deep breath in. Exhale. We're going to look in between your hands. You're going to step your right foot in between them. Framing your front foot. And just give your hips a moment to melt down a little bit here while you keep your back leg strong. And then gently bring your back knee down. If that's uncomfortable for that knee, feel free to prop it up either with a cushion or again, you can bring the mat double here if you like. Then you have options. You can either stay here or you bring your hands on top of your knee or thigh. And without actually putting too much pressure here, because it is, you want to be soft, just allowing the hands to hang and your hips really to melt down and forward. So you're allowing yourself to hang into it. No real alignment rules here. Just softness. You need a little bit of effort here to keep yourself up. At the same time, where we usually in a yang practice would be really engaging our core, pulling our ribs in, keeping the legs active. We're trying to find that softness now in every body part. Really opening deep through that front, that left hip flexor, and opening into the right hip. Soften your shoulders. Every exhale, you melt even further. Where can you let go? Keeping the breath soft. One more inhale. And with an exhale, you gently bring your left hand down on the inside of your foot. And then you're allowing the right sole of the foot to come off the mat. And that knee goes out to the side. Now, option to stay here. And with that right hand, you're going to open a little bit more through the knee, deeper into your hip. Option number 2 is to bend your back knee, bring the foot in, swing the right arm behind you, grab a hold of the foot, and then open the heart to the right, melting the hips down. That's a really, really deep one into your left quad. If you're like me, I don't have that much space into my hip flexors. But again, it's a sign for me. There's still a lot of stuff stored in my hips. I'm just using my breath to let go. Last breath in. And then gently let the foot go if you had it. Take your hand down. And just slide that foot back down. And then up to downward dog. Pedal it out. Do what feels good here. And when you're ready, you take it to the other side. So you're going to step your left foot in between the hands. Slide the back foot out a little further. Melt into your hips. Keep the back leg strong for a moment. So you really start to go low into the hip space. And then when you're ready, knee comes down. Optional, hands down or hands onto your thigh. And again, no pressure, just kind of softening, hanging, leaning into it. Maybe even closing your eyes if that works with your balance. It's quite a tough one here, actually. But give it a go. Your shoulders are completely soft. Neck is long. You're trying to really open this time through the right hip flexor and into your left hip. Be aware with the sensations in your body. And any emotion or feeling that comes up here. That feeling of I actually want to come out. Then stay. One of my good friends from Bali, she's also a yoga teacher, and she posted today again something, a very actually well-known quote about yin yoga. And that quote says, the pose actually begins when you want to come out. And that's very, very true. Use your breath, let it go every exhale. Those hips go a little deeper. 2 more. And then gently, right hand comes down inside of the foot this time. Allow the sole of the left foot to come off the mat and that left knee to open. And you can either stay here or you start to bend your back knee. Swing the left hand around, grab a hold of your foot if you can reach, otherwise just stay where you were. And then again, melting your hips forwards, opening through the heart space. Take your options. If this is too much, don't do it. You really want to try to keep melting the hips forwards and down. If you feel yourself doing this, that's not where we want to be. You really want to open and lean forwards again into those hips, opening the heart. And if you think this one comes easy for me, you're very wrong. It's one of the toughest poses for me. I have very short quads and hip flexors. So this is very, very interesting. Use the breath still. Soften your heart. One more inhale. And then slowly let your foot go if you had it. Bring the left hand back down. And then slide the back foot or the left foot back. And you may come back into down dog one more time just to give those hips that space. Or do anything else that feels good. And when you're ready, you're going to take the right foot off the mat again. This time sliding your shin forwards. Sleeping swan. So your right knee is behind the right wrist. Right ankle comes sort of behind the left wrist. 45-degree angle most probably for your shin here. And you start to walk the back foot away from you so you melt into your hips. If there's a lot of space between the right hip and the floor, take a cushion, slide it underneath the hip for some support. And you have options. You can either stay here if you feel this is more than enough for you, or you can come onto your forearms, or you can come even deeper down, forehead or chest. And just again, this one is not about how pretty it looks or how perfectly aligned it is. You want to find a place where you feel I'm going deep into my hip, my glute. Take up your space. Allow whatever had been stuck for a while there in those hips to come to the surface. It's okay to feel it. Let it move through you. It has to be felt at some point anyways. Soften. Relaxing your shoulders. Trying not to keep yourself up somehow. Melt it all down. Two more breaths. And then you slowly lift your forehead off the mats, coming back up onto the hands. And if you had a cushion or a block underneath your hip, take it away and then sink the right hip down onto your mat. And you're going to bend that back knee, bringing both legs into kind of a 90-90 angle here. Grab a cushion. You're going to take yourself into a deer pose. So for deer, you're going to have the cushion into the right hip here. You're going to twist the body all the way towards that cushion and then leaning yourself over, allowing the forehead to either come down or maybe turn out to the right for a bit of a deeper twist. Allowing your belly and your heart to be supported by your cushion. And it's okay if your left hip comes off the mat. Try to deepen that twist a little bit. Your hips soft here. Allow this pose to support you. It's one of the most comforting, grounding poses in yin. Letting go even more into your hips. Let your body sink. No need to hold it up. One last breath, inhale. And with an exhale, you gently rise back up onto your hands. You take your cushion out of the way, but keep it close. Press up onto your hands, come back. Either into tabletop or you may take a quick downward dog again. Move the way you need to move. Or keep your movement soft and gentle. Notice the space in your body. Notice the changes. And then when you're ready, other side. So sliding left shin forwards. Knee in front of left wrist. Ankle in front of right wrist. Sliding back foot out and away from you. Keeping your hips squared. Maybe that cushion comes underneath the left hip here. And then take your option. You may come down onto forearms. Find your sweet spot and then rest. Relax all the way down. And stay focused on your ebb and flow. Allow your breath to move softly. No holding back. And notice that with every exhale, you find that millimeter extra space. Be present with the sensations physically and emotionally. Allow whatever has to come up to come up. Let it move around. Bring it kindness. Accept it for what it is. And then let it go. Often that's all we need to do. If you feel frustrated in a pose like this and you want to come out, acknowledge the fact that you're frustrated. Feel it. Feel the frustration. Keep breathing. And then let it go. Get heavier. Let go even deeper. And then slowly rise onto your hands. Take your cushions out of the way. Sink your left hip down. And then bring both knees into that 90-degree angle, turning a little bit over your mat. So you can take your cushion, slide it into that left hip here, and then twist your body as far as you can over your left, and then lean over your cushion and drop. Maybe turn your face out to the left to twist a little deeper, making sure your belly and your heart are supported. And then just let go. Get even softer. Let your body go. And then slowly press back up through the hands. Take your cushion out of the way. Swing the legs forwards, front of your mat. Shake them out if you need to. And then roll down onto your back, hugging the knees into your chest. Swaying a bit from side to side. Finding a happy baby pose. Bending both knees and then grabbing a hold of the feet from the outside. The other option is to grab a hold of the back of your thighs if it's just too deep. And allow your tailbone to melt down to the earth. Your shoulders to drop. Your face to be soft. Your belly to expand with your inhale in between your thighs. Let go even more into your hips, your inner thighs. Final breath in. And with an exhale, you let your feet go, but you bring the feet together. And then straight away, bring them into a butterfly position. So ankles come down, soles of the feet together, knees fall out to the side. Optional to bring the hands out wide, palms facing up. Or you may bring the arms over your head. Grab a hold of your wrist or your opposite elbows. And then relax your shoulders, adding a little heart opener. Fully letting go of your knees. Don't try to keep them up. Notice what happens in your pelvic floor when you let it go. The sensations in your lower back. While you keep trying to make the belly soft. Stay with your ebb and flow. That soft ripple that never stops. Last breath in. And slowly with your exhale, hands down. If you had them up. And then bring the hands underneath your knees. Slowly back together. And walk the feet out to the edges of your mat so you allow your knees to fall in towards one another like a pyramid. Short opposite rotation of your hips here. Hands onto your lower belly. And then for our last pose, just taking an easy twist any way you like. Maybe just knees together and then dropping the knees to one side. If you want it a little bit more intense, cross one knee over the other and then drop the knees, open the arms out. Wiggle the hip underneath. Wiggle the shoulders open to twist even more. And with a deep exhale, let go again. Taking a last breath in. And then bring your knees to center. Taking it straight away to the other side. Take up your space. Last breath in. And back to center. Come into Shavasana. Take your final resting pose. Wear something warm or cover yourself if you need to. Support yourself with a cushion if you want. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, let it go through your mouth. Letting that breath anchor your body down. Feel the earth underneath. Take your space, it's yours. You are needed. And your presence is essential. You are needed. Your passion, your heart, your mind, your creativity, your compassion, and your empathy. So don't sit on the sidelines, questioning your place. You belong here. You are strong. You are here on purpose, for a purpose. So do your best. Lean into wisdom. Take with you wise counsel and take action whenever and however you can. That's all that is required of you. And then trust the goodness of life to bring that victory. There's change coming. And even in the messy, your presence matters. You are needed. Placing your left hand onto your heart space, your right hand onto your belly. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Feel your place on this planet. Step into it. Own it. You're worth it. And then feel free to start moving your body in any way you like. Rolling over at some point to one side. And when you're ready, making your way up to a seated cross-legged position. Eyes still soft or closed. Bring your hands into your heart space. Take a deep breath in. Exhale softly out. Bowing your forehead down towards your fingers. Saying gratitude for coming onto the mat today. And taking the time out for yourself. And knowing that you're worth of the place that you're taking up here on this planet. Namaste.